Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another Be Ready course, part of our Becoming Bankable theme for the year. Let me introduce you to Jacqueline Ellis Trice. She's one of our own. Woo, woo, woo. She's been helping out this program since we started back in March 2021. And now she is going to give a presentation on protect your business, get policies and procedures. We all need that, especially if we have employees. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Jacqueline and she's going to educate us on what we need to do when we have employees. Take it away, Jacqueline. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you, Jermaine. Good to see you, Stacy. I don't know that all of you know what I do. I think most of you know that I primarily am the consultant and do grant writing for the L.O.C. But another part of my consulting work involves just helping small businesses do certain things like this, create policies and procedures. And really how I got started in this part of what I do is I served on the board of directors for two different organizations here in California in the LA area, and one of which I helped to found. So we had to have these things in place not just from a nonprofit standpoint, but also because they were going to be hiring employees. And so it also worked for companies that are in small businesses for which had employees as well. So I had to develop these for those businesses. So tonight I'm really just giving you an overview. There's so much to this, but I really just did not want to overwhelm you. So I'm just going to give you some basics. And then, at the end, I'll let everybody know how I can further help you along in your process. Okay, so with that, we're going to get started. Yes, so the title of our presentation tonight is Protect Your Business, and the question is, got policies and procedures? And let me go to the next slide. Okay, so I already introduced myself. So I wanted to give you guys a couple of disclaimers. One, I am not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, guys. So although we'll be bringing up some things that are related to law, I am definitely going to say that you check in with a lawyer, or there's agencies that kind of do that type of work or that type of thing around development of policies and procedures, and not so much development, but making sure they're in alignment with the laws. Because nationally, I think laws are the same, but I don't know that all the states have the same kind of ordinances or laws, okay? And then just a couple of housekeeping procedures. I don't mind if everybody's off camera, I have no problem with that, but I do want people to participate. I don't want you to sit back and not ask questions. So feel free to ask questions. There's going to be a couple of things I ask you to do related to putting answers in the chat or coming off your mics and answering. So, be ready for that. It'll be fun. I try to keep things light around here. So those are just my housekeeping things for this evening. Okay. So with that, I want to give you an overview of what we're going to cover. And so we're going to I'm going to start by just checking in and see what your understanding is of policies and procedures in the workplace. We're going to talk about the purpose and why they are important. We're going to look at some common workplace policies. And then I'm going to list a few that you need to absolutely consider creating, although there are tons, but I'm going to give you like 5 or 6 main ones. Then we're going to talk about how you develop company policies as an employer. I'm going to give you a few examples of some workplace policies. Then we're going to do a Q&A, and sorry about this. I don't know what happened here. Okay, and do a Q&A and wrap it up because we do have an additional presenter tonight. So I don't want to take up all the time. Okay, so with that said, the first thing I would like for you all to do, and you can type your response in the chat to the following question. Why does your company need policies and procedures? So put that in the chat for me. Why do you all think we need to have policies and procedures in place. I gave you a minute to get your response in. Jermaine says to protect your IP. What's IP? Jermaine, I'm sorry. What's that? If you come off and tell me what that is. And Stacy says protection.
My bad, intellectual property.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay. So yes, that can absolutely be it. Yes. Yes. And thank you both for your responses. And Stacy says protection and also smooth interactions and expectations. And you both are right. So let me share some additional responses that I was able to locate for you. Okay. So let's see. So primarily it's to establish the rules of conduct within an organization because we want to outline responsibilities for both employees and the employer. And then two is to protect the rights of the worker as well as the business interest of the employers. Okay, because I don't know about Arizona, but I know that they say, okay, let me start this way. They call Missouri the show me state, but here in California, it's the sue you state. So, I mean, there's a lot of cases around workplace things because people don't necessarily have the right policies and procedure. They have them, but not necessarily the right ones in place to protect their business or to protect the employees. So you have to consider that none of us have money like that to get sued and be put out of business because we don't have things in place. Okay, so what we want to do is just understand the importance by putting into writing what you expect from your employees. And these can be related to things like their performance, the values of the organization, and then how you expect them to behave or like their code of conduct. And then the other important piece is that the policies and procedures can serve as pre-warnings for employees because they outline consequences of failing to abide by the rules. Okay. Other important reasons, and I think we've said this, or Stacy mentioned the first one, you want to be sure to set clear, it helps to set clear expectations. It keeps the management accountable. So managers, owners, you have to be accountable, right, to your employees, as because it's just a benefit of your business. And then it also helps to ensure compliance with the law. It helps to defend against legal claims. And I'm going to share a couple of things in just a minute. And then it assists with fair treatment of employees. I mean, you all know part of human trafficking is not all sex stuff. It has also to do with workplace things and unfair conditions and just all that kind of craziness. So that's, not what we want to be known for, and you want to be able to defend against legal claims. I worked in a group home once, and I knew the owner really well, and just made some recommendations to her about some things that were not in her policies and procedures, and she was satisfied with how they were. But the end result is because of this one particular policy that was not super clarified, she ended up getting sued like 3 times, and it almost cost her the loss of her business because she did not want to put this particular thing in place. She felt it was too harsh for the employees, and just tried to talk to her about the importance of it being more for protecting her business than the employees. But these are the things that can happen if we don't put these expectations and stay accountable and compliant to the law, all these things into place. Okay. So next we want to look at some common types of workplace policies. So what I want you all to do now in the chat, or if you want to come off your mic, you can, is to list some types of workplace policies that you are familiar with. So example could be attendance policy, right? So what are some other policies that you all are aware of in that for the workplace?
One, like attendance, like a code of ethics or code of conduct policy.
Yes.
Any type of, like I come from a financial background. So we had a lot of policies related to licensing for
Mhm.
if you were associated with FINRA or any other type of like state board. But those are a few that I can think of. And then like, of course, like a tardiness policy and a lot of things mainly around ethical behavior.
Right, Stacy. Jermaine, do you have any thoughts?
She pretty much took what I was going to say.
And let me ask you both this, if you can let me know, do either of you have employees right now?
No.
Okay,
No,
not yet, right, Stacy?
right, not yet.
I know you're growing. Okay, these are good answers, you guys, and thank you for sharing. So here are a few more. Okay, I actually have 2 slides. So there's things around health and safety, internet and email, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that one. Retirement, and though you're may not be at the place where you need all of these policies, we're going to talk about, just the importance of keeping these things in mind and to be able to add them into your policies and procedures later. So there's attendance, vacation, and time off. There's code of conduct, which was said, maternity leave. And we also have things like mobile phone usage while on the job, recruitment policies, anti-harassment, disciplinary actions, anti-discrimination, and drug and alcohol policies. Okay. And I know I don't have any of our Phoenix L.O.C. or our nonprofit leaders on the line, but with the anti-discrimination, a lot of grant proposals are asking organizations to show that they have that policy in place for a lot of things, the anti-discrimination and anti-harassment policies. So it's not just for for-profits. These are for both types of businesses, okay? So I want to dig a little deeper into a couple of these and list some of the policies that you should consider creating, okay? And here's where it's going to be a little interactive. I'm going to ask you guys to read some of the slides, if you will, okay? And so the first one we want to take a look at is equal opportunity, okay? So can I get a volunteer to read the slide if it's big enough for you to read?
Oh, I can see it.
Okay.
Equal opportunity. Many countries mandate that you must be an equal opportunity employer by law. For example, in the United States, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the EEOC, enforces a wide range of federal laws that prohibit workplace discrimination. And Equal Opportunity Policy, EOP, prevents companies from discriminating against job applicants or employees if they are a member of a protected class, for example, race, gender, age, religion, familial status, color. The EOP is essential for any anti-harassment, workplace violence, non-discrimination, or diversity policies your company may consider developing.
Okay, and thank you, Jermaine, for that. So, we have to remember that too, although we are all Black business owners, we do have to make sure that we're not discriminatory in our hiring practices, or even in like promotion practices, things like that. We can't be like, I'm not hired, there's ways around that if you want your business to be Black only, but you have to just consider, is this person qualified? Are they going to be able to, truly qualified? I think most people can do eliminations based on qualifications, and what you need for your business, but just be fair about it. Don't just discriminate, because you don't want a member of a protected class as a part of your employment, okay? Because we don't want to do role reversal in that. Some of us have experienced that, maybe have experienced that in our own getting hired for jobs before we started our businesses. So we definitely don't want to be offenders. We want to set a better standard, okay? Better standard than that. Okay, so the next policy that we should consider creating has to do with workplace health and safety. Stacy, do you mind reading that one?
Sure. Workplace health and safety. It is important to provide your employees with a safe and healthy work environment, especially since workplace health and safety violations can cause harm to your employees, cost your business money, and damage your reputation. Your business should be proactive and write a health and safety policy that is designed for each workplace. For example, you might specify what employees should do in case of office emergencies or how to handle unsafe materials. OSHA has guidelines on how to create a safe workplace and protect workers from occupational hazards that you can base your policy on.
And one thing about that is this is not just important for like manufacturing companies. I mean, this is really for every single organization. You know, I in addition to my consulting work, I have a part-time coordinator position at my church, you know, but I see our HR person, like, you know, she floats the building all the time, not, you know, to really just kind of see and check over on, you know, things that could potentially be workplace hazards. And even, you know, kind of since we've been in COVID, you know, people have needed things for home, like, you know, a certain type of chair, that type of thing. Or I have was able to get a stand desk, you know, just because, you know, and so you have to know, and what you want to hope is that your employees also are open to sharing where they have workplace needs that are, you know, feasible, because if they're not feasible, then, you know, you don't want to be sued for not being able to accommodate. So they should have medical records or a medical note, something saying what they need, and for you to know that you'll need to accommodate, you know, where it needs to be accommodated. Okay. So again, you know, you can check out OSHA. I mean, they have a lot of policies, you guys, and I can't tell you how big that manual is. But we'll talk a little bit more later about how to navigate some of that, okay, in order to develop policies and procedures for your own small businesses. Okay. All right, then next one. Saria, can you help us out and read this one?
Sure. Employee code of conduct. A clear and concise code of conduct can help employees understand your expectation in terms of performance and behavior. This policy might include specific rules related to substance abuse, sexual harassment, giving gifts, dress code, confidentiality, and even the use of cell phones or social media during work hours. Misunderstanding may still occur, but at least employees have something to refer to if they are unsure about what the expectations are.
Okay, and critical. And you see a couple of these highlighted because these are the ones that in my experience, are the ones that tend to get employees in the most trouble, if you will, or create the most amount of disciplinary actions. So dress code, I mean, some businesses may have a uniform. We don't, like our security staff here in facilities, they have, you know, a uniform that they wear. It's usually just black polo and black pants with their department logo on it. But for me, I don't necessarily have, you know, I don't have to wear that, right? I don't have my church polo shirt. I don't have to wear that. But, you know, I still have to dress respectable and reasonable. And I think typically they also ask us not to wear kind of sandals in certain or open-toed shoes in certain parts of the building, or just period, because, you know, we could get injuries to our feet or whatever. So, I mean, there's, again, ways to do that. You just have to know what you expect of your employees. And, you know, different types of businesses require different types of things. Some businesses allow their employees to wear shorts, you know, but they might put the shorts cannot be higher than, you know, an inch above your knee or something like that, you know, and you also want to make sure that they're fair. You don't want to have one set of like dress code policies for the women and just, you know, the guys can do whatever, you know, again, that could be considered discrimination. So even around things like confidentiality, you know, what do you have to have your employees sign certain type of confidentiality agreements, you know, because you're dealing with, like Jermaine, you're dealing with intellectual property, you know, and even if you like were to hire a consultant, you would want to put some type of statement of that in their contract, so they know that they can't just, go on and be talking about that intellectual property or, leave with it or whatever. I think two of the other most important things are cell phone use and social media during work hours. I know that I've been a culprit in the past in workplaces right now. Because we're in COVID, I actually, thank God, get a little benefit for using my personal phone for work. And then the department I'm in our broadcast media department, so I get to use social media during work hours, but it's for work purposes. So I'm not like, looking at YouTube, looking at my favorite, person who cooks recipes that I like. I'm not doing that. I'm looking for other types of, things that are related to work. And you really have to spell those things out, like if cell phone use for personal is something you're going to allow, but, you might want to say, okay, in your policies, you can use it, but, keep it to breaks or lunch. Same thing with social media, keep it to breaks or lunch, or, not at all. I mean, people have emergencies, so, their child might need to reach them while they're in school. So, it's up to you to decide, but you just want to make sure that, your employees understand primarily that they're there to get the job done, so if this is starting to affect their work, you just want to make sure that you have the policies in place that you're amenable to, that, that you're going to have them agree to, for this part of their conduct. Okay. All right, let's see. The next one is, hold on, what's happening? Okay, attendance. Jermaine, can I ask you to read again?
No problem. Having a standard way to request a day off or take vacation leave will help things run smoothly in the office. PTO policy should outline how much time off employees receive, when and how they can accrue more time off, or who they should contact to request their time off, and anything else they may need to know about taking PTO. For example, vacation, use it or lose it. Other time off policies to consider creating include parental leave policies and bereavement leave policies. You can also choose to create a separate attendance policy that outlines what is considered tardy, how far in advance they should request time off, and what happens if they don't show up for work.
Thank you, Jermaine. And another policy I just came to mind regarding attendance. They say here other time off policies to consider: parental leave, which could include maternity leave, bereavement leave. What about jury duty? I mean, are we allowing them to be off for that? I mean, they have to do their jury duty time, right? But is it time off without pay? Is it time off with a couple of days pay, pending proof of their service? Is it the whole time they're there? So, these are the things that you have to think about as you're developing your policies. And for those who don't know what PTO is, it's paid time off. Okay. Some people used to refer to that as sick or vacation, but now it's I feel like it's just kind of lumped in. Some companies still say vacation use or sick leave use, but a lot of it's just, PTO. Okay. And again, like it says here, is vacation a use it or lose it? I've worked for companies where it's been both, where you can just accrue. But a lot of companies now, or at least from what I hear, it's a use it or lose it kind of thing. So again, these are just policies to consider. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go to employee disciplinary action. Stacy.
All right, it says some of the most important company policies involve discipline and employee conduct. Before you can hold your employees accountable for their actions, it's important to record your expectations in terms of performance and behavior in your employee handbook or individual employee contracts. With complete access to the rules and regulations of the workplace, you can then enforce disciplinary action when appropriate while using the employee handbook as a point of reference. A simple step-by-step list of what happens regarding disciplinary action can make it easy for employees to know what to expect if they violate a company policy. Describe a specific process you will follow to ensure every employee is treated fairly when it comes to discipline. Have a lawyer review the information before you include it in your employee handbook to make sure all disciplinary action is legal.
Okay, yes, okay. Have for any of you who've been in a workplace, do you remember some of the steps for how they handle disciplinary action with employees?
Oh, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Jermaine.
No, that was Stacy. Go ahead,
Oh,
Stacy.
Stacey.
Yeah, there are a couple different ways, depending on the severity. Most of it would have to be, filed with like a direct supervisor, passed along to the manager, then to HR. And then they would review it to see, at least at my last company, if it had the severity of, losing your job or I don't even know what other options they have, but that was the main one.
Mm-hmm. And Saria, you wanted to add? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So where I used to work at, it was you get a verbal warning, then a written, and then I think the third one was a corrective action. And then after that, it was basically fired. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So these are the things, because again, and these are also the most sensitive ones and sometimes the hardest ones for employers to kind of deal with or follow through on. I'm really going to say follow through on because it's more of that. And the two things that I referred to, or the three people who sued in the last company, this was why they won, part of why they won, because they didn't get a verbal, or they got a verbal, but then they didn't get their first written and final warning. And then so when they did get it, or they kind of did things backwards. It really is what it was. So, again, you've got to be able to follow through and always know, as the owner, as the employer, the things that you tolerate could come back to bite you. So, you just have to really be careful. And then, yes, a lawyer to review the information before you give it to your employees to sign. And I know sometimes legal costs can be expensive. And as small business owners, I know I don't always have that, but there are a couple of like online options for document reviews. I use Rocket Lawyer, and for me, they have documents there that I can use, templates I can use, and they have it so that you can just do like a one-time thing, or you can pay a monthly fee. It's like $40. And then, do whatever you need to do. So I actually use it monthly because I'm always working with other organizations and needing to develop documents for them. So it's worth it for me. But, just saying, just look around, or if you know people who can do that pro bono work for you or willing to do that for you, take a look at it, and give that legal advice to you, then by all means, utilize that. Okay. By all means. Okay. And then the last one is employee complaint. And so, Saria, will you do that one for us?
Absolutely. Grievances or formal complaints your employees can file to document their concerns with an aspect of their workplace. These grievances must be filed as a result of an incident or conflict with a fellow employee. A grievance can be filed for nearly any reason, including physical workplace complaints, financial issues like payroll, and social circumstances like harassment or bullying. It's important to outline a formal process for resolving complaints within your company so that employees know how to handle their concerns in a professional way. It may also be a good idea to develop a non-retaliation policy to protect employees who make good faith complaints against their manager or coworkers.
And employers, you have to be open to that. Okay, I know there's organizations who have like whistleblower policies, which says that if they voice a complaint regarding management or their supervisor or anything like that, that there will not be retaliation because of what they have reported. And again, it's provided, you know, that it's in good faith, that their complaint is legitimate. And of course, no employer or supervisor wants to hear a complaint, you know, from an employee, because sometimes we'll just be trying to justify that. But you know, just be open-minded to that, okay? And just having that formal process for resolving complaints, because if not, it goes legal, and then you don't have that policy, and I'll be like, okay, well, you know, the employee wins, and you don't want all that all the time, okay? All right, so are there any questions at this point? Does anybody have any questions?
None from me.
Okay, thanks, Stacy.
Not yet.
Okay. All right. So how do you develop policies as an employer? Okay. Where do you begin? Like what thought processes need to be in place for you to develop policies as an employer? And we're going to take a look at those. So the first one is you want to identify the need for the policy. Jermaine, you might have policies that you need to have in place that Stacy may not, okay? And Stacy will have policies in place for her business that Ali may not need for, you know, the hat store, okay? So it's all observations. And I know, like you said, I know Ali has, I think they have employees at the bookstore and at Grassroots. So I know that there's things that they're observing as management. But you know, you want to think about these things and observe the way, it says observe the way your management and employees deal with the workplace issues and identify areas that could use improvement. And that's what you want to consider. You want it always to be about improvement, not because you're mad at the employee because of what they did, because you didn't have a policy in place. Okay, it's improvement. We're gonna, okay, my bad, I didn't have it together. We'd have this policy in place. We're going to get it together. So for example, if an employee consistently violates the unwritten rules, you may consider adding a new policy that addresses this and other related issues, okay? All right, so the next consideration is to determine the content for the policy. So you want to write down the key areas that need to be addressed, okay? And so for here, you can include different sections and clauses that prevent you or your employees from finding loopholes, because we're good at that, right? Well, it doesn't really say that, it kind of hints at it. So no gray areas. It's got to be black and white, guys. Okay. And then what will you want your employees to do? And what would you like them to avoid doing? So that these are how you determine the content for your policies. And it's always a good idea to include what disciplinary actions will be taken if violated. So what is the disciplinary action going to be if they violate the dress code? Okay. What is it going to be if they're on their cell phone all the time for personal reasons, or on social media and not, you know, getting that work done that you need done? Okay. So again, as you're thinking about your policies and developing your policies, determining your policies and the content, you want to check with an attorney before distributing any policies to your employees. Okay. Be sure that you do that. Okay. So the next policy development tip is to communicate the new policy to employees, okay? So say you've, well, actually, for those of you who don't have employees, as you're developing your book, you're gonna wanna make sure you review it with them as you're onboarding them. And then like in Ali's case, where he already has employees, if they have an employee handbook, and you know, some things come up, you want to communicate the new policies. I know right now at my job, because we have all these COVID procedures in place, we're getting emails like, I don't know, every couple months about how the staff is going to handle, or how they want the staff to handle things. So we literally just got one the other day, like before a couple months or so ago, we had to sign off that either we've been vaccinated or not vaccinated. Okay. They didn't ask us to show our cards or anything. I think at that point they felt like they didn't need to ask us for that. And then we just got something else last week this past week, because the numbers are up here in California, that, you know, we have to have proof. And if you are one who said on your previous letter that you're not, you know, for whatever reason doing the vaccination, you've got to provide a COVID test weekly by this day and time. And they told us if that didn't happen, there's going to be disciplinary action. Okay. So they didn't clarify what that was, but we all kind of know what that means. So you want to just be sure that you communicate. And then a lot of times when we get policy changes, our HR person will send it to us, and then we have to sign an acknowledgement stating that we received it and get it back into her, by a certain time. So these are there are many different ways you can do it to cover the communication part of it. So, these are just a couple of things that I wanted to share about that. Okay. And then you want to update and revise policies as necessary. And we spoke about that a little bit earlier, but as you see a need, you want to update and revise, according to your company's objectives and or any employee feedback. I mean, I've given feedback on some things I think we should have policies for, even in my current workplace, just because we don't have it. And, I see how I've seen a couple things to where it could lead to a problem. So, but I kind of look at things and think like that, even though I'm not a high level staff or manager, I still just kind of, think that way, protect. I'm always about safety first. Okay. All right. So example policies, I wanted to share two examples of policies just because we've talked about types of policies. So these are just a couple that I pulled from the internet. The first one is an attendance policy. And I'm going to ask Ali, are you able to talk or join us? He might not be. Okay, Jermaine, can you read this one for us?
Yep, sorry about that. Employees are expected to be on time and regular in attendance. This means being at your workspace and ready to work at your scheduled time each day. You will be given a 10-minute grace period after the start of your shift before you will be considered tardy. Employees who are tardy on more than 5 occasions will be subject to disciplinary action. Absenteeism and tardiness are burdensome to your coworkers and leaders, and will not be tolerated without just cause.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's just a sample one. Some people have more information than that. But I think, in communicating the policy, you also want to make sure they understand the effects of their actions, because you all know when, I know when my team members aren't here, that, it means that I'm going to have to, pull a little extra weight. It's different when I know they're going to be on vacation or, out for PTO or whatever, because we can plan for that as a team. But if somebody just like calls out or doesn't show up and I'm like, okay, let me go have so-and-so do this, and they're not around, that means now I got to stop and do it when, we all should be just sharing in that work. So, again, clear expectations, clear communication. Okay. And then here's another one. Saria, do you mind reading this one?
Sure. ABC Company is committed to eradicating discrimination and unlawful harassment in our workplaces. Any actions, jokes, or comments based on an employee's or client's race, religion, ethnicity, sex, age, or any other legal protected class are not tolerated and will be met with significant disciplinary action. Code of conduct policy for discrimination.
So yeah, that's just an example of code of conduct policy for discrimination. Okay. And there's so many more, like so many ways to write these, so some policies and procedures are super cumbersome, some are not. And you do want to just try to make sure it's not cumbersome, but you also want to make sure that you get the point across so that everybody, again, is clear. Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay, well, we're almost.
This would vary. I guess you would implement these according to business needs.
Yes.
So my industry, like you said, it would be different than what Stacy does, because my industry is just different. So the code of conduct and the rules, as you're saying, would be different in regards to that industry, right? Or their basic ones.
There are some basic ones, Jermaine, that need to be there, like regarding discrimination, regarding harassment, those types of things, anti-discrimination policies. So there's some that absolutely have to be there, and any lawyer will tell you that. But other things like just how do they need to dress at work, your social media policies, these go, I mean, there's things that are, business to depending on the type of work that business does. So for example, Stacy's in the kind of, I call it the beauty industry, or health and wellness. So, she's going to require in her workspaces that her employees, sterilize their instruments, things like that. That's not something you're going to have to do. Okay, we cannot, you guys might have to do a, wipe down periodically, but I'm just saying there's specific things that Stacy would have to do that you would not have to do, that she's going to have in her place of business, because even though she might have licensed people working with her, people still, forget or sometimes just try to slide on some of those rules. And, she doesn't want to have her reputation out there. You don't want to have your reputation out there in a bad way because of, people not following the policies. So there are things that are definitely industry specific, but also some things that are just common for all businesses. Okay.
Next question.
Yes.
The attorney, would it be attorney that specializes in employment, labor law type attorney, or could it be just a general business attorney?
I think it's just going to depend, Jermaine. It's going to depend on their background. So when you're interviewing or seeking out, I would tend to lean toward a labor law person. But if not, a business person is fine, because there's some basic things that they need to know. And if they can find out for you, whatever you need, they should be able to. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so just a couple of additional informational things that I wanted to add in here as you're thinking about this, because you might have these questions. Can a company change a policy without notice? So most companies include a statement that policies can be changed at any time without notice to the employee. However, if you're building trust with your workforce, is something you value, and consider updating your employees on all new or change policies as they occur. And I know they do that in our workplace. Like, they might not need us to sign off on everything, but we will get an email. And as a part of that email, we have to reply back to, or click something that says like a red receipt email or notification to our HR person. And really the thing to remember is that company policies exist to help your employees be safe, productive, and successful in their roles. So it's important that they're aware of the changes, because if you're writing somebody up about a new policy they had no idea about, I mean, the question is that fair? It's not. So, just do what you need to do to keep them informed. I think it just absolutely builds trust. And that's, if that's something you value in your workplace, then, then keep them informed. Okay. Now, the next question is, are company policies legally binding? So unless the policy indicates otherwise, company policies can be legally binding for employees under certain circumstances. For example, an employee could be legally or tried legally for their actions in the workplace, such as committing fraud or sexual harassment. Okay. And then, some people have in their policies that, they can be prosecuted for certain types of actions. I have seen that as well. Okay. And then the last question, or for additional information for consideration, is where should you put your company policies? Company policies are most often included in an employee handbook. You can also provide updates to company policies through additional documents or email. And we talked about that already. Most companies typically have their policies available to employees online as well, usually through the company's internet. So in the case of my job here, which is the first time I've had that, we have a public drive where all of the forms and everything are kept for our organization. And in there also are the most current policies and procedures. Okay. Any questions or comments about this additional information?
Yeah, my company, it can go either way.
Mm-hmm.
As a 9-to-5 employee. But yeah, we either get, because I'm in the auto industry, the auto finance industry, we get, sometimes we'll get rate changes, but they'll let us know ahead of time.
Yeah.
Dealerships will let us know ahead of time so we can prepare. And sometimes
Right.
we get those changes the day of. So it's be like each deal you work from this point on, apply these particular rules. So yeah, it can, for my industry, it can vary. It can go either way. Just have to
Exactly.
one of their core values is flexibility.
And people say that all the time. We get that here. And I think because I do what I do for my consulting work, I'm always like, when I hear that, sometimes I cringe because I'm like, okay, you're saying that, but you guys still got to be on it, especially, because I know when we get information, sometimes it is same day and you got to implement it now or late. So I'm just like, okay, y'all needed to be clear on that. So, but
Absolutely. Crazy.
It is crazy, but again, it goes back to that building trust with your employees, right?
Absolutely. But let's tell y'all that they've been in business for 70 years.
And people know how to get around.
Part of the culture.
Right. That's the other part. Oh, well, that's a whole different, this company culture. That's a whole different presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have here just the internet is overloaded with resources, but I picked a couple that I actually used to put this presentation together. So if you want to screenshot it, you can. I will also quickly, let me just do this right quick. I'll put it in the chat. There you go. But again, I would consult with someone if you're not sure about how to put a policy and procedures manual together. There's tons of templates out there as well. I did not necessarily pick one, but what I did do with the Balanced Careers, they do have a sample policy and procedures, and I kind of like theirs the best. So I just gave you that one. And it can, you can use it or not, or find something else that works for you, or consult to get, something that works for you. But I absolutely wanted to share that with you. Okay. Hold on, you guys. I don't know. Oh, here. Okay. And then next to the last slide, do you have any other questions?
That's it for me.
Okay. All right, you guys. Well, I thank you so much. And then I do want to offer, if you need a free consultation on just how to think about putting your policies and procedures together, industry specific, I am available for a free consultation. Or if you want me, or if you want to pay me to put your policies and procedures, develop them, and get a manual put together for you, I can do that also. My information is here, my email and telephone number. Okay. And with that, again, thank you. And Saria, I'm done.
Well, great, Jacqueline. That was a great presentation. And it only takes one disgruntled employee.
Just one. Oh my God, just one.
You up, okay? And it's no fun being in court and paying money for something that you could have avoided if you had policies and procedures in place, right? And following those policies and procedures. So thank you, Jacqueline, for reminding us about that, because we all need them eventually.
And it doesn't have to be, I want to say this because I know especially Jermaine and Stacy, you all have been on the majority, if not almost all of our workshops and classes and presentations. So it's a lot of information that you've gotten over this whole time. But doing something like this doesn't have to be overwhelming, because a lot of the examples or templates have that boiler language. So you don't have to put a whole lot of effort into, creating. It's just kind of just knowing, what you need for your own personal business. Okay. So don't let that don't let all of this overwhelm you. Okay. So again, like if you need a consultation, let me know and I'll walk you through it. Okay.
I did have one last question. I'm
Sure.
sorry. It just popped in my head here. Is the reason why companies use arbitration instead of going to court budgetary?
It can be, like, sometimes it is easier to settle out of court. Okay. Yeah, but again, like, it's an attorney who would probably help you do that. And it really just depends on the case. But yeah, a lot of times it's cheaper because when you consider court cost and what you could potentially have to settle for, which is usually a lot more, in my opinion, than arbitration, then yeah, it's a budgetary issue.
Okay. Any more questions for Jacqueline?
I had a really quick question. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I had a quick question. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. What would be the best way, I guess, to introduce policies and procedures? Because like you said, in both of the businesses, we have staff, but we don't have any policies and procedures in place currently.
So
I know we
Ali,
need to.
that's basically, you could do it a couple ways. You can have a staff meeting, but I would, for you guys, I would say, get the policies and procedures into place. You let your employees know that this is something you have to do. You have to let them know why, tell them it's to help protect them as well as to, for the business interest of the organization. So, there's no like super special way you have to do it, but get it done. And then you guys also, I want to say this, I don't think I said this in here. When you introduce or get ready to onboard new employees and you give them that, you want to allow them like a day or two, and then make sure you have them sign acknowledgement of receipts of the policies and procedures. That way they cannot say they did not get it. And actually anybody who's coming on new, they need to get that back to you before they start work. Okay.
Right.
But for your people who are already there, you like, look guys, got to have this done in a couple of days, or, allow them enough time to read through it, come back to you with any questions they may have. And then just have them sign off on it. I know whenever we get new policies here at my job, we have so many days. So she'll be like, I need it back by this day. Make sure you get it in by this day, and then if they don't want to be compliant and follow that, I mean, I would consult with a legal person first, but you do have the right to let them go if they can't, if they're not on board with what you're stating as your policies and procedures. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right. Any other questions for Jacqueline? All right. So let's go ahead and let's get like a 5-minute break. Let's get back here at about 7:35.
Yes.
And we have Eric McIntosh, who's going to talk to us about the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. He's going to talk to us a little bit about what they are, what they do, some of the programs, just to get you guys thinking about joining a chamber here, or any chamber, because there's so many chambers. There's Tempe, there's Phoenix, there's Peoria, there's Chandler. To thinking about maybe joining a chamber that fits for you in your business. It's a great opportunity to network and become part of their different programs that they have. So yeah, so let's get back here at 7:35, and then I'm going to introduce Eric, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the Arizona Hispanic Chamber. Okay. All right. I wish I had some music, but I don't have any music. So so I'll see you guys in at 7:35. All right, everyone. It's 7:35. We'll get back to our course tonight, and I'm going to introduce you to Eric Magnatosh. He is the let me get his title right. He is the Business Development Senior Director at the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. He's been there for a while. I've worked with Eric, actually working on 2 different projects at the Arizona Hispanic Chamber. He's a great guy. He's a great connector for businesses. He is a business consultant. He likes to connect businesses together so they can help do business. So he does a lot at the Arizona Hispanic Chamber, and I'm glad I'm able to work with him on my 2 projects. So I'm going to turn it over to him, and he can take it away and tell us about the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Cerelia. Honor to be here. Thank you for the Phoenix L.O.C. And Jackie, I caught part of your presentation. That was excellent. Always super important. You never know what type of situations will arise at any minute with employees and so forth, but always need to be prepared. Yeah, thank you, sir. I'm gonna share my screen here, try and find but everyone, my name is Eric McIntosh with the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I'm just trying to share my screen here with you. I've been with the chamber about 2.5 years or so, and going on 3 years, but it feels quite a bit longer, especially during the pandemic, how we had to really pivot and help our members out and help the community, the business community out and so forth. Let me see. Oh, there it is. All right. And has anybody been to our offices at the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce? We are tenants of the Better Business Bureau on 10th Street in Missouri. Has anybody been to the BBB or members of the BBB? Pardon me? No? Okay, well, it's a beautiful facilities. They have 3 camp. It's basically on their campus. They have 3 buildings. One of them is their staff. One of them is where they rent space out. They can hold anywhere from 15 to 60 people comfortably with TVs to rent, with TVs in the rooms where you can present all around, so it's a good view. Then they have their open co-working space called Ignite, which is where we rent from them. So if any of you ever want to come down and visit the facilities, let me know. Because of the pandemic, we have been working remotely, but just about 2 months ago, we started working hybrid. So generally my day that I go in is on Mondays. And so if you ever want to schedule an appointment, I can give you a nice little quick tour and talk to you a little bit more in detail. Now, I'm not sure why I had a little quick presentation to pull up here, but it is not showing here, so I do apologize for that. I'm not sure why it's not up.
Did you click on the share button and at the bottom?
Yeah, but when I click on it, usually my presentation will be there. And it's not, but let me try this now. me see, because I clicked on that. Oh, here we go.
All right.
There we go, much better.
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. So here's my, and Surreal, I have about like 30 minutes, correct?
Yeah, take
20
all the time you need.
20 minutes or so. So again, here's my name, Eric McIntosh. I have a Scottish last name. My mom's from Mexico. So definitely a lot of diversity in my name, and with a Scottish background, but my mom from Mexico. I grew up bilingual. My dad's dad was from Idaho, then his grandparents from Scotland, but his mom from Mexico. So I grew up bilingual. And as I mentioned earlier, I've been with the Chamber for about 3 years. Here's my email. Feel free to take it down. Any questions you might have. My direct phone number is 602-294-6090. And as I mentioned earlier, the BBB is on Missouri between Camelback and Bethany Home. So a great location, central location in the Phoenix area, a great hub for all different locations, all surrounding cities. And the website is www.azhcc.com. So there on our webpage, you'll be able to find out more information, about our calendar of events, our job postings from our members who post jobs, our business directory if you're looking for any type of product or service. We have that on there, a little bit more about in depth about our chamber as well. And just to go over our mission a little bit, our mission is basically to help with the growth of Hispanic-owned businesses and all businesses grow through facilitating relationships, connecting people to different resources. But at the end of the day, we want to be a fountain of information for all businesses. And as Surya said, connect you to the right people to help you with the growth of your business. Here's our leadership team. Monica Villalobos, she became president about 2 years ago, right before the pandemic, you could say. So she's been through a lot, and she's a great dynamic leader. So if you ever have a chance to meet her, you'll be awed. And then Suzette, and then Christina. Our staff, here it is, small but mighty. And you can see we have a couple interns. We have someone in public policy. And so just a great team to work with, and like very family oriented. Then underneath the chamber, operated by the Phoenix or the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, is the MBDA Center. So I'm going to talk a little bit about more in depth inside the chamber. We're not your normal chamber. So this is funded by the U.S. Department of Commerce. We have 2 people in this center. It's Alika Kumar and Yvette Uriondo. And basically what they're doing is they're helping businesses who are making $500,000 or more. Before it had been always $1 million, but it got lowered to $500,000 after the pandemic. And you have to be minority owned business. So there's about 25 agencies in the country. They have been ranked like number 1 to 2 the last 7 years. So they just got their basically their funds, their grant renewed. So for another 5 years. So any questions you might have with them, please let me know, and I can connect you with them. They focus really a lot on government contracts, procurement opportunities. So that's what they focus on. So small team but mighty, and again, they're part of the chamber as well. We received a grant last year during the pandemic called the BEDC, and basically Karen and Peter, they moved over from the MBDA Center to basically run this grant and this program, and they help Native American, Hawaiian natives, and Alaska natives in the regions of Utah, Nevada, and Arizona with growth and connection of the small businesses. And that's what they focus on. And there's the team that Karen and Peter have formed. And Guillermo is one of the AZHCC interns as well. And so a great team there. So if you have been working with any of those, any Native American or Alaska Native or Hawaiian Natives in Arizona, and you want them to connect with Nabetsi or Karen, please let me know as well. Be more than happy to help them out to see how they can help scale up as well too. Because it's all about building those relationships. And as Cerelia had mentioned, the program that she is the project manager on is Ascend Phoenix, and there's a new one with the coronavirus relief program. And so basically these are also more fine-tuned in helping military veterans, women-owned businesses, with different other procurement opportunities, government contracts as well. But all in all, just finding ways to help with the growth of your business. And that those are the names of those two programs. And always feel free to connect with me, or right there you have Cerelia as well. For some of the, sometimes we have different events and that she could invite you to, and we can as well through those programs. The chamber is, we focus on 5 pillars: economic development, market intelligence, capacity building, advocacy, education. So through the economic development, you know, the MBDA Center is one of our programs underneath the chamber. Matchmaking events, job creation, access to capital. We had a matchmaking event through Nabetsi a couple weeks ago at the University of Phoenix, and it was kind of like a little mini expo. So just great people. You always want to, you know, expand your network, and that's what the chamber tries to do. You know, some businesses are just kind of maybe stuck in their zip code or so forth, and they work with the same people, you know, repeat customers and so forth, which is great. But you know, as a business owner, you really want to have that mindset of really, you know, growing and expanding and building these new relationships. So economic development is a key pillar of ours. The market intelligence and thought leadership. This what kind of separates us from other chambers of commerce. Our datos, which is data in English, is our annual report of the Hispanic consumer purchasing power here in Arizona. And usually it's presented during Hispanic Heritage Month. So it'll be presented in October, and it'll be at the Arizona Grand Resort. And basically this information, it's 10 months of comprehensive research on the Hispanic market intelligence here. And it finds the latest trends of the purchasing power of the Hispanic community in basically about 12 different sectors. And it's broken down, and it's a publication maybe about, I'm not sure, maybe 300 pages or so, but it's all digital now. And so we have that breakfast, as you would call it. I believe it's October 29th. So feel free to take a look at that. And if you want a link to read more about the publications, there's been 24, I believe, throughout the last 24 years. This year it's focusing on housing. And so that will be the main focus on that. And so that's probably the biggest, you know, achievement during of that pillar. Capacity building, I would have to say, you know, in the time that I've been here, just the networking events, even though during the pandemic, you know, we did shift to a live stream webinars, you know, for 1.5 years. But we've known for a robust calendar of events where people get to network, because you never know who you're going to meet. We're the chamber with the most networking events. We're famous for that. So capacity building is another key pillar of ours. Advocacy, you know, different things arise, right, in the country, in Arizona, and you know, we have a public policy committee, basically different avenues on ways to support minority-owned businesses here in Arizona. So we always want to fight for what is right. And so we focus on that as well. And then the last pillar is education. So we have a scholarship fund program that we have a golf tournament, a scholarship. The proceeds go to our scholarship fund. I'll talk a little bit more about our scholarships that we offer for juniors and seniors in an accredited college. But a lot of great different programs such as Dream Builders that Cerelia is part of. Maybe she can touch a little bit based on that a little bit later. But all different impact areas that we're here to help the community all the way around, not just the businesses that are active now, but the future leaders of tomorrow as well. And as I mentioned, the networking events that we're very well known for. Our Buenos Dias breakfasts are generally 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning, held by some of our Los Amigos partners, our corporate partners. Our contactos after 5. We haven't had any of these quite yet. There are happy hour mixers. So those are always a great way to get to know people after hours. And then our annual member meeting and holiday meeting, which is usually at the Desert Botanical Gardens. But last year we did it online. So I'm not sure if we're gonna be having it online or in person this year, but stay tuned. And our signature events. So we have one coming up this Saturday, but let me just go over them really quick. There's about 5 of them or so you could save. So starting off the years it's called the Power of the Purse, and I believe it's like the 7th annual that we had, and we had it on YouTube this year because of the pandemic, but we were able to have it last year instead Desert Botanical Gardens. And it's during International Women's Week, so usually it's about 400 or so women-owned businesses, keynote speakers, and it's just a great electrifying environment celebrating women in business. And lasts maybe 3 hours or so with a cocktail party afterwards. So that's going to be during International Women's Week every year in March. So hopefully you may attend. Then we have our Black and White Ball, which is the longest running gala in Arizona. It was canceled last year, but normally it's in May, but we will be having it this year on September 18th, this Saturday. It is sold out. Normally it's about 1,200 attendees, but it will be half the capacity because of the resort at the Arizona Grand Resort, just because of the pandemic. So just a little bit having that safety at the forefront. But it's a great way to honor our corporate partners and our small business owners, and just a way of recognizing the community. So a lot of dignitary, legislator officials, government officials will be there. For the most part, Governor Doug Ducey, and quite a bit more. Then Datos is coming up October 29th. I know the slide here shows the 20th, but coming up October 29th, and that will be coming up. Sometimes we have it in Tucson, but we will be not having it this year in Tucson just because of the pandemic. And then we had our Business Diversity Summit as well in 2021 in August, and that was on YouTube. And then we had a matchmaking event as well last month. And then we'll have our golf tournament coming up. Now, once you're a member, pre-pandemic, these networking events are complimentary. And then after the pandemic, everything was virtual, so everything was just complimentary. But normally these events, there's a cost, $10 to $20 to go to these. And then the signature events range anywhere from $40 to $150 to $400. But if you're a member, you get a discount off these as well. So that's a nice little perk. As I mentioned before, our Bud Shootout, pre-pandemic, the last one raised $70,000 for our scholarship funds. So all proceeds go to that. And there's an area to register for it, and it'll come out. It'll be on our website where you can go to look at the scholarships if you know anyone interested in applying for that. One thing that I can tell you that is present happening in a couple of weeks, and I invite all of you to attend, is we have an ambassadors leads gen group, as we call it. And it's a great way for members to engage with one another And the end goal is to help pass referrals to each other, and grow your book of business, really, and build those relationships, because not necessarily might not be someone there you meet who can help you with the growth of your business, but they might know someone. So it's all about building those relationships. And we've started to have a few more that are in person and some are outdoors. And this will be actually the first one at outdoors, because normally they've been at the BBB the last couple months, the Better Business Bureau. So this one's going to be hosted by our members, Phoenix Rising. It's a professional soccer team, and it's going to be at the Churchill, kind of like open commune area, where they get to present for about 15 minutes or so. But it's an open networking afterwards, and it just everyone has about a minute to give a kind of like an elevator pitch commercial about your business. And hopefully, you'll be able to listen to someone and connect with them afterwards. And what's nice about this one, they're having a watch party, so for the soccer match. And so there's going to be happy hour pricing. The owner of the Churchill is going to bring and give us complimentary hors d'oeuvres. So this will be a great way to see what we're all about. And I invite all of you to attend. And again, just shoot me an email and I'll send you more information, but also on our website, underneath our calendar of events, you'll be able to go ahead and register for that. It'll be complimentary. Okay, so if you can make it on the 29th, that'd be fabulous. It's from 4 to 5. But then afterwards, the match, I believe, starts at 6, but it'll be open networking and just continue the conversation that's going on there. And we meet it on the last Wednesday of every month, and we spotlight a member for them to give a little opportunity to present. Once you're a member, there's different ways to maximize your benefits. As Cerelia had mentioned, there's probably about maybe 25, 30 chambers of commerce in the state of Arizona. The biggest one is the Greater Phoenix Chamber of Commerce, a great chamber. We collaborate with a lot of the chambers here. And our president created the Chamber Collaborative actually a couple of years ago, which is the Chamber Collaborative is with all the ethnic chambers of commerce, the Black Chamber with Robin Reed, the Asian Chamber, the Native American, the Asian Chamber, the Black Chamber, Native American Chamber of Commerce, ours, and a few more, and just collaborate different ideas to help each other out. So when you join the Chamber of Commerce, a lot of the relationships are grown organically from what I've seen in the last couple of years being here. Sometimes you hit a golden nugget right away, but I really encourage and have that mindset of being engaged and staying present. And if you can't make an event that's going on, please send a colleague or a volunteer to talk on your behalf, right? Because it's kind of like what we see a lot. It's a two-way street with chambers of commerce. Someone is very excited about joining. They come on board, kind of like a gym membership. You get all excited to work out the beginning of the year, and then you only go the first few months, and then life happens or something happens, and then you don't go for the next 11 months, 10 months, and you're like, well, I'm not going to renew because I didn't have time. So we always ask that, if you can't attend, try and find someone to be there on your behalf. But we have a lot of different opportunities to help with growth and recognition, visibility. You get a banner ad on our website to help market your business. Hyperlink, you'd want to have a hyperlink to go to your website. You get to post unlimited amount of posts on our calendar of events. If you're ever hiring, we have a job bank that has been very, very popular since the pandemic started, because people are trying to hire quite a bit. So we have a job bank. So if you know anybody who is looking for a job, have them go there as well. And other different things. We have a lot of member benefits that are from our members, and one that really stands out quite a bit is our members from Web Movement. So some businesses, what I can tell everyone here that's present is that a lot of the members that sign up, a good percentage of them are startups, right? Who possibly don't have a website or any business cards. They don't know how to network. They don't know how to, get up in front and talk to people. They're a little nervous. And so all these networking events, the little commercials, standing up, being able to present, all these little things help out. And one of the benefits we have as well is we help with a complimentary website from one of our members. And it's a free build of a website worth $500 to $1,000. If you do like it, they ask for an economical subscription plan starting off at as low as $39 a month. So, I mean, these are some incredible benefits that we help with small business owners. The other percentage of business owners are going to be your medium-sized business owners who have been around maybe 7, 10, 14 years, and they've reached kind of like a steady plateau. Their sales are just kind of like right there, right? And they see their neighbor or they hear of their friends and they're just booming, right? They're selling and like, well, how can I expand my business? So where do they go? They go to chambers of commerce to try and connect and build new relationships. So ours is one of the better ones, right? And it's not just one chamber of commerce. It's always recommended maybe to be in one or two, and maybe other networking organizations as well. You really want to have that reach and open those channels up. So we always recommend at least one or two. The Hispanic population is the fastest growing segment in Arizona. So it's always nice to get your foot in the door with a Hispanic population as well. And then the other members are going to be more of our corporate partners, anywhere from 200 to 1,000 employees. So those are going to be some of our corporate Los Amigos partners and some of the members that we have. We want to help bridge that gap where hopefully one day the small business owners, medium-sized business owners can be at that level of an Amazon, right? Because Amazon started small, right? So, and they happen to be one of our corporate partners as well. And so that's what I can tell you about our kind of like the size of and the reasons why these business and corporate partners join our chamber. The corporate partners such as banks, right? Sometimes they want to help the Hispanic or minority-owned community or the minority community and so forth. But one thing that I could tell you, a lot of questions that I receive at different networking groups that I attend is, well, I'm not Hispanic. Why I can't join your chamber? Or I don't speak Spanish. I can't join your chamber. And it's kind of like the opposite, right? We really have that global mindset, and we really want to turn the page on that. And it doesn't matter what skin color you have, or what languages you speak, what your ethnicity is. It's all about helping transforming your business and helping you connect to other people. Smiling and listening goes a long way. The staff at our chamber is fully bilingual in case there comes any type of situation where there is a language barrier. But all in all, again, 70% of our members are going to be Hispanic, bilingual. 30% are going to be non-Hispanic, so Caucasian, Anglo, African American, European, Indian, Native American, Asian. So we have a little mix of everything because that's the best way to network and build these relationships and kind of get out of that comfort zone. So that's one thing I'm very proud about working here at the chamber and connecting with so many different ethnicities and helping the Hispanic community, of course. So again, all in all, that's a little bit about, just I want to share a more in-depth, quick review, synopsis of our Chamber of Commerce. If you can attend that networking event on the 29th, that'd be great. If you want to schedule a one-to-one over the phone or a Zoom call, I'm more than happy to. If you want to come by the office on Mondays, even though I'm going to be off this coming Monday, I'm more than happy to schedule something so I can give you a little tour of the BBB. A lot of great benefits you get. One other benefit that I can mention is that if you're not a BBB member, which I believe their membership is like $800 a year, by being a chamber member, you get a discount to use their room. So that's great. So if you need a great facility, that's a great perk as well. So I'm gonna leave it open for any questions. Please let me know if you have any questions. And
Yeah, a few. Thank you so much, Eric, for your time and sharing. That was really helpful. I wanted to ask, and I might have missed some of it. What is the cost for membership?
yeah, so good question. So usually the chambers of commerce go by employee size, right? So sometimes we do take it by case scenario, but we have a special tier right now, which is a sole proprietor. So basically, if you're just one person, it's only $250 annually, and that's pretty economical, right around like $20 a month, $25 a month or so, and almost less than almost right around the cost of Netflix. So it's a great investment for your business. If you have 2 to 5 employees, it jumps up to $350 annually. And if you have more than that, it would go to $425 and so forth. But happy to help everyone out here. And if you're a nonprofit, I can give you a little discount as well, 10%. Not a problem. Most chambers of commerce, the Greater Phoenix Chamber of Commerce, they start off right around $450. Scottsdale starts off right around $600. So our prices are pretty economical. Like I said, for a lot of benefits that you get. As mentioned, one of them is you're in our business directory all year round, and other perks as well. But yeah, Jermaine, I think that was you. But the lowest that would be $250, and then $350, and then on our website you can go to member benefits, and the pricing will be there for more. As more employees you have, the bigger. And sometimes, as mentioned, we work case by case scenario and work with you. If you have 2 employees and not a problem, we can do a sole proprietor for everyone. Not a problem. So.
Thank you.
Did you have another question, Ali? Sorry.
What was that, Jermaine? Sorry.
No, I thought I was interrupting Ali. I thought he had something else he had to say before I asked my question.
Oh, that was Ali. Okay, sorry about it. Sorry, Ali. Was that?
No problem. Yeah, that was real helpful. I did have one more quick question. You had mentioned I forgot the exact name, the collective or collaborative between the different chambers. Mm-hmm. Is there a type of membership that gets you membership to all those, or is that more about you all collaborating as chambers? Yeah,
it's all kind of like behind the scenes of them meeting and just coming, brainstorming different ideas to help each other out, not have events on the same time, and just seeing how we can help each other's members out and organizations out. So yeah, it's just there isn't a one set price for all of those chambers, right? But I can tell you, we've been around 73 years. We're nonprofit. So we're definitely, out of all the ethnic different chambers, we're definitely the one that has the most tenure, right? You could say most credibility, because we're not your normal chamber. We have so many different pillars that we have to help support business owners and students and so forth.
Gotcha, thank you.
But Ali, if there's ever where there is a dialogue that they might have in the future, where they invite business owners to like a Zoom meeting or something, right? Because it just started a couple of years ago, then the pandemic happened, so things are still being adjusted. But you know, I'd love to invite you to that, or just, you know, I'll let Cerelia know about that, and she'll be on top of it, because she's my colleague as well, so she'll know about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll reach out to you. I would love to just spend some time and learn more about how we as an organization and a resource for businesses in the community can better collaborate and better partner and refer and all those things.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And Ali, one thing that I wanted to highlight here is I'm on the board of directors of an organization called Trees Matter. It's all about providing tree canopy and shade throughout the community, schools, and so forth. And we're having a project, it's called the Resiliency Project, and it's going to be in South Phoenix. So I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with Spaces of Opportunity in South Phoenix, and we're collaborating with Darren from the Tiger Mountain Foundation. So this project, there's going to be a ceremony. I believe it's going to be the first weekend in November. We're planting 100 trees. There's going to be tons of media. It's going to be a great networking event. It's going to be great for that community in South Phoenix, to bring awareness, to support the poverty in that section, right? Help lift up the, you know, there's a garden there where you can go and plant your food. So it's pretty amazing. So I'm gonna let's see here if I have it here. See here.
Yeah,
Trees Matter.
we're very familiar with Spaces. We manage a community garden there.
Okay, well, you know all about it. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we work with Darren quite a bit.
Oh, sweet, awesome. Well, tell him, you know, I met him once, but let him know that Trees Matter. Eric is on the board, and hopefully, Ali, you can be there and spread the word.
Yeah, I'll plan to attend. Definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, I will be there, and I'm gonna also post a link that Darren is on here. It's a video by ABC 15, and if you guys can copy that, put it in, and just watch it at your own leisure, but give you a little bit more information about that project. And again, it's in South Phoenix, so and I'll be there as well, and there'll probably be some chamber members, and it'll be a great event. And so I just wanted to get that in before I forgot. So thank you, Ali.
Cool. Well, thank you, Eric.
Jermaine, did you have a?
Thank you.
Jermaine, did you have a question?
Yeah, I did. I wanted, if you could, briefly explain what business diversity is. What does that mean? Because I saw a slide where you had business diversity, and it kind of confused me. So if you could explain that to me, that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. So one of our signature events is the Business Diversity Summit. So underneath the third slide, it was the Minority Business Development Agency run by Alika Kumar, operated by the U.S. Department of Commerce, or funded by the U.S. Department of Commerce, operated by the Chamber. So basically, that is kind of like their baby, you could say. It is their event. And so it is their little gala awards of kind of a very diverse ethnic background of business owners. And so it'd be great to connect you if you had any interest with them as well, with Alika or Yvette. But that Business Diversity Summit is once a year. It was online this year. And it's just more of the, I guess you could say, not so much Hispanic owned businesses. It's all different types of ethnic minority owned businesses, from Ethiopian, to African American, well, you know, and Asian, all different types. So it's that's what that Business Diversity Summit is all about.
Oh, so it's the businesses are diverse as well as the business owners are
Mhm.
diverse. So
Yeah,
by diverse, you mean industry diverse?
industry and yes, industry and ethnic background of the owner.
Okay, okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Is that content still accessible, Eric? You said it was on YouTube.
Yeah, you know, I'll try and let me see if I can. Yeah, it is on YouTube, and let me see if I can find it. But any other questions while I try and look for it?
Was
I
the same? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ali. Go ahead.
I just was going to ask if you all were also part of that that summit or that event that just happened this week. I didn't hear about it until the last minute, but I heard that it was really informative, and it dealt with a lot of issues, or not issues, but opportunities regarding procurement, working with the various city governments, stuff like that.
I personally was not involved in it. But do you remember the name of it?
Do you remember the name of that summit? That, oh, okay, no, I'll send it to you. I thought I might have seen Hispanic Chamber maybe as one of the presenters, but there were a lot of different organizations and chambers that were part of it.
Yeah, probably. Most likely. We've kind of been like all hands on deck getting ready for our gala this Saturday. Our small little team puts on an event for 600, 700 people. So it's our big one.
Oh, wow.
It's our biggest event of the year. So
Gotcha.
yeah. But there's my email if anybody wants to shoot me a quick email, and I will try and maybe I can do like a little thread with everyone here who shoots me an email, and we can stay connected like that. And I can share links that come through, and we can stay connected like that too. And, and one last thing I could say about our chamber, and it's just not any chamber, but joining other chambers or other organizations. It's all about building that pipeline and not staying stagnant. You never know who you're going to meet, and the more presence you have and more knowledge you gain is key to a business owner goal. So, we're here to help, and you all know Cerelia as well. So, and there's different programs that sometimes come out, and you all could be, part of these programs sometimes. You never know. So it's just a great way to get involved.
I just want to jump in real quick. I don't have a question, but I just wanted to comment to say specifically to Stacy, if you're still on the line. I just got enrolled in the Dream Builders program, and it really is a great program for minority women's business. And so, Stacy, if you can get involved in it, I've met so many people already and have made connections, and it's been great. So this is, one of their programs, and I can't think of the other program I'm enrolled in right now through the chamber, but like Eric said, there's lots of things that we can participate and be involved in. So let's do it. It's been great so far.
Thank you, Jackie. I probably met you already, Jackie, but at that Dream Builders event.
Yeah, you did actually. You did meet her, Eric.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other program Jacqueline was talking about is called the Coronavirus Response and Relief Program. So for that program, it's number one, it's part of the Dream Builders program that's Jacqueline's in, but also we do a lot of technical assistance with small business owners as well. Any more questions for Eric?
No, this was good stuff. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I'm trying to find here, and I think I found it.
Thank you, Eric.
And no, that was 20. That was 2020. But I'll find it. Okay.
Cool. All right. If we don't have any other questions for Eric, Ali, do you want to close us out for tonight?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm driving, but I will thank everybody for joining. Thank you to both of our amazing presenters for all the incredible information. We definitely highly encourage everyone to take advantage of the offer that has been put out, following up, reaching out for one-on-one support as it comes to the policies and procedures, or for one-on-one building a relationship with the chamber. And we are nearing the end of Be Ready. It's been an exciting, educational, and informative ride. And the presentations really just keep getting better and better. So once again, thank you everybody for joining. And thank you again to our presenters and to Saria. And we have one more class on the 21st about putting it all together and with the business plan. Karen will be visiting us again, also from Hispanic Chamber in the Betsy. And so we will see you next Tuesday for that. And if you have any questions or any needs in the meantime, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And that's about it. So we will let you have 10 minutes left of your night and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.